Embrace the year 2024. It could be among the best ever for you and your clients. Jeremy Hauser, I realize it's early, but how are you feeling about the year so far?
Excited and enthused. 2024 is definitely something of a year that I am very, very excited about. We're coming into 2024 and our team and the history of me actually being here at InsurMark for coming into 13 years now. We've
Mm.
never had as much business pending going into a new year. So January is a very optimistic month for us. In fact, in December, we talked about this on the AMP Mastermind call with the team earlier in January. But in December, in our 40-year career at InsurMark of its existence, we actually had not only one, but two record-breaking weeks for most submitted
Oh,
business
wow.
in the month
Whoa.
of, yeah, in the month of December. So not only did we shatter a record that was set previously, roughly 4, 5, 6 years ago or so, but 2 weeks following the week that we actually beat the all-time record, the team actually ended up submitting even more business that week. So December was an incredible submit month. But that just goes back to also a previous podcast where we shared that a lot of advisors were working through the month of December, not slowing down, a lot of opportunity in our industry for not just this year, but a couple years to come here for the products and services the advisors are using. So we're very excited about 2024. New RIAs are definitely looking at some of the products and solutions that the products that recommended by us here at InsurMark for our advisors when it comes to some annuities, life insurance, asset-based long-term care. Customers are just looking for some more certainties instead of a lot of more market volatility in the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023. Customers are really starting to lock in some gains. So really for 2024, our theme is going to be just execution. Just got to execute. We've been building processes and systems for years now. We've been always going back to the drawing board and just being pretty precise with what our advisors are looking to do as they continue to grow and scale their business. But now 2024, all signs are showing very prosperous. So you have to execute now.
You should be pretty proud of your folks.
I'm always proud, Patrice. I'm always proud. So, how do you actually bring about influence into what you're currently doing to help motivate people to build trust and credibility?
Take that influence thought a bit further too, because that's a huge topic with a lot of advisors that I happen to talk to. Always the influence.
And we actually talked about this on our AMP January mastermind call. It's Gary Brecka. He talks about what's called frequency. So he studies the body. He studies a lot about the human mind and why people do better with others, how opposites attract, and a lot of just the neuroscience, I guess, of the human body and other avenues. But when he mentions the word frequency and frequency level, I actually asked my advisors during the call in January, what's probably uh, what's probably the most powerful frequency that's out there in, well, you might have the answer, but what do you think the most powerful frequency is?
I don't know because you've got to define frequency for me. I'm not sure what you're talking about. There are all kinds.
So to actually basically to the frequency level to help attract an individual, maybe to influence them to want to do something. One of the things he talks about is more around the word and the term. So, in the video that I shared with a lot of my advisors, the video, the individual raises their hand and they say, well, if it's not emotion, then it must be love. Love is probably the most powerful
Oh,
frequency
oh.
level. So what Gary the speaker actually mentioned is, well, this frequency level, which I thought was going to be love, is the most powerful. This frequency level is actually 4 times as powerful as the term love, and that frequency is authenticity. So
Hmm.
just being very and actually there's a term he used. It's called constructive interference. So it's a law in physics where the more authentic you are of portraying your words to somebody, it ends up gaining a lot more power. It's the most powerful force to leave the human body, which is authenticity. I thought was pretty interesting. We talked about it in our AMP January mastermind call. There's just so many things out there. There's volatile markets. I know 2024, over the last 2 years, with all the uncertainties that are out there, a lot of volatility, customers are just looking for someone that they can trust, somebody that they know is there to help protect them during these uncertain times. And so, what we talked about with those advisors is really focusing on the how to come off and really just internally become more authentic, which is just two actual things that Gary talked about were what was it? Oh, how to become, yeah, in order for two things have to be present to become more authentic when you talk to individuals. It's your words, they have to be truthful, right? Words have to be truthful. And number two is when you are actually speaking to someone, you have to believe what you are saying. So,
Hmm.
so pretty simple and
Fake it.
basic.
You can't fake it, or you can't fake it then.
Mm. Could fake it, but I think for the most part, and what we talked about actually in the mastermind call is a lot more in where advisors that are communicating to these prospects, to their clients, and to really come off more authentic is, and some of the previous guests have mentioned this, you have to eat what you cook.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the advisors that are currently that work with us, they purchase a lot of the products that they recommend to their clients. And so it is very easy for them to come off very more trustworthy. I mean, it's not a challenge for them to overcome certain objections because they do believe fully on what they are providing to their customers. Because if it's not good enough for them, why are they going to offer it to
Sure.
their prospects or customers? So yeah, so for the influence part of what we really are focusing on is it's just like we mentioned, just being able to build trust and credibility, focus in more on if you're going to speak, you have to make sure that you believe what you were saying. You have to make sure that you're telling the truth, it's your truth. And so the rest should take care of itself. So 2024, it's about just executing that message right now because it's one that a lot of customers and prospects want to hear about when it comes to the services our advisors are utilizing.
That's pretty powerful, actually, believing what you're saying.
A lot of our advisors, when we are recruiting and when advisors are essentially when they're looking to attract a prospect, maybe not just locally, but 15 states away, because a lot of our advisors now are doing a lot of things virtually as well. They have a lot of conversations with prospects that might already have an existing relationship with an advisor. So some of the terms and some of the vernacular they utilize during these conversations with these prospects, they talk about, so if an advisor, let's say, currently is speaking to a prospect, that prospect has had an existing relationship with an advisor for the last 10 years. So we know that in 2022 wasn't the best market. In 2020, it started off pretty rocky in the first quarter. So there's been multiple times where there's been a lot of uncertainty in just that quick 4 year period. So if somebody's been working with an individual for 10 years, one of the questions our advisors ask is based off your relationship with this individual. So always address them by name, try to figure out their name based off your relationship with them. Did they ever put together a lessons learned with you so you don't have to go through those sleepless nights? And it always strikes the prospect kind of off guard because nobody really does a lessons learned for the most part. I mean, if they're not an independent advisor, if they're working with one of the big wirehouses, they may not, because they may not have access to certain vehicles for retirement planning. So therefore, our advisors in January have started to put together and conduct what's called a 2023 lessons learned. And they're sending out a video message to their clients and also their prospects, just letting them know what they learned in 2023. So we highlighted a couple of the main talking points. There was about 8 or so. Some advisors, in fact, they went ahead and they started to put together a webinar. So they're doing a webinar for their distribution and just having people come to the webinar instead of doing a quick little video. They're going to go over and outline the 10 lessons that they learned for 2023. So it should be a good raise for those people who have maybe had individuals that have been on previous webinars over the past couple of months, and just another touch point to their current existing clientele. I mean, there's so many good things to talk about, and not just our space, but things that we could have learned in 2023. Hopefully that's helpful. That's something that's been helping some of the advisors, just kick off the year on the right foot. It's easy to, everybody wants to have a conversation at the beginning of 2024. So why not go over a summary real quick on what happened in 2023?
And say, good riddance, goodbye. We've learned. Let's move on.
That's right. Well, you got to learn from
Yes,
from
exactly. What have we learned?
did not go well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to admit that you know it now, or that you've learned it. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think also, so lessons learned, a lot of those could be market volatility. I mean, the products that our advisors are currently recommending, it's a very favorable interest rate environment. Although right now, it's based off the Fed and based off of who knows what the future may bring. Right now, rates may be cut here in the near future. So therefore, at least in the services and the retirement vehicles, our advisors are recommending to customers, it's a very favorable time frame. We don't know how long those rates will stay around. So there's a lot of good opportunity out there for individuals and diversification. So when one thing zags, the other thing zigs. So a lot of diversification conversations. And in fact, if you didn't already check it out, the last episode of the Advisor Mentorship Podcast, highly recommended. It got some incredible feedback, off the chart downloads. Episode 54, it was with Tom Haynes. He's one of the due diligence index specialists when it comes to figuring out which indexes to provide with a Nexus. So a lot going on.
Well, it sounds like you're getting off to a roaring start for 2024. Is there something we haven't mentioned yet that you really want to make sure you do? This has been a great look forward, though. A look back and a look forward.
Yeah. Just excited about 2024. Like I mentioned, for those advisors, the cream of the crop of who we work with, they are just ecstatic. It's all about executing right now, minimizing mistakes for 2024. The industry is going to take care of itself. So those advisors that are in the field and they specialize with some of the products and services like annuities, life insurance, it's really the golden years right now for prospects that are actually raising their hands, wanting these type of vehicles for protection. So just make sure, minimize mistakes for 2024, time to execute those systems and processes, and looking forward to moving forward this year with some incredible advisors and hopefully bringing on some even better guests as we continue this show. As we kicked it off already with Tom earlier this year, have some good ones coming up with some life insurance and some other individuals too. So looking forward to the next couple episodes on Advisor Mentorship Podcast.
Well, then the big question becomes, as always, how can advisors reach you?
Yes, they reach us at advisormentorship.com. Feel free to go there. Click on the learn more if you want our introduction kit, and subscribe to the podcast. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube podcast as well, as we're starting to post more and more on the not just video pics from our recordings with me and Patrice and us and the guests, but also we're doing some of the shorts as well too for YouTube. So not just your favorite listening device. Go ahead and also subscribe on YouTube. Is that your part?
Well, part of it. Let me finish up, okay?
Okay.
So everybody jump into the energy of 2024. Get in touch with Jeremy. Share your thoughts and experience. Follow the podcast and share it with others. I'm Patrice Sikora, and thanks for being with us.